UFC 266 was an event that many fans were looking forward to, not only for the pair of high-stakes title fights, but also to witness the return of Stockton's own Nick Diaz. So for this video, we've decided to do a brief recap of UFC 266 and go over the results of some of the main fights on the card. As always, if you guys enjoy this video, please be sure to let me know by leaving a like and subscribing to our channel. Now, without further ado, let's take a look at what happened at UFC 266. First, we'll be taking a look at the third fight on the main card, which saw the highly anticipated return of Nick Diaz taking on former welterweight champion Robbie Lawler in a rematch 17 years in the making. The two first squared off at UFC 47, with Diaz earning the win via knockout. Of course, plenty has changed since then. While there was a good deal of hype surrounding Diaz's return, there was also a fair bit of speculation as to how he'd perform. On top of being out of competition for roughly 6 years, he had also turned 38 last month and hadn't won a fight since defeating BJ Penn in 2011. His victory against Penn was unfortunately followed by 3 consecutive losses, courtesy of Carlos Condit, George St. Pierre, and Anderson Silva, which caused him to take an extended hiatus from the sport. As for Lawler, after enjoying an exciting reign as welterweight champion, a loss to Tyron Woodley in 2016 caused a significant downturn in his career. Following the setback, Lawler proceeded to go 1-4 in his next 5 bouts, losing to the likes of Rafael dos Anjos, Ben Askren, Colby Covington, and Neil Magny. Though it is fair to say that both Diaz and Lawler were well past their respective primes heading into this fight, the matchup between the two legends was very intriguing nonetheless. Unfortunately, Diaz's comeback proved to be unsuccessful. The first 2 rounds produced quite a bit of excitement as Lawler and Diaz traded a high volume of strikes between one another. While Diaz was constantly firing back, it was Lawler who appeared to be getting the better of the exchanges and doing more in terms of damage. However, after Lawler caught Diaz with a big right hand in the third, Diaz stumbled to his knees and rolled onto his back, refusing to get back up when prompted to do so by the referee. This resulted in a somewhat bizarre TKO victory for Lawler, who managed to snap a 4-fight losing streak. While it was no doubt a disappointing result for Diaz, he made no excuses or apologies for his performance and admitted that he was happy to put on a show. Whether this is the last time we see Nick Diaz in the octagon remains to be seen. But if this is his last fight, it's certainly been a pleasure watching him perform. Next, we'll be taking a look at our co-main event, which saw women's flyweight champion Valentina Shevchenko looking to defend her title for a 6th time against the number 3 ranked Lauren Murphy. While there was no question that Lauren Murphy had earned her shot at the title after putting together an impressive 5-fight win streak, odds makers didn't give her much of a chance against the reigning flyweight champ. Shevchenko, the overwhelming favorite, had won her title in 2018 and had successfully defended her title 5 times, with 3 of those ending via KO or TKO. Given how dominant she had looked during her reign as champion, fans had little reason to believe that this fight would play out any differently. As has been the case many times before, Valentina Shevchenko dominated pretty much every aspect of the fight. While Lauren Murphy did manage to tough it out for a while, Valentina kept the pressure on while mixing in some takedowns and pressure from the top. Eventually, Valentina hurt her opponent with a hard right hand and a head kick, which was followed up with a flurry of big shots against the cage. Soon enough, Murphy proceeded to fall to the canvas, where the champ unloaded some vicious ground and pound to earn a 4th-round TKO finish. As for what's next for Valentina Shevchenko, a trilogy bout with Amanda Nunes would likely make the most sense, seeing as how there's few contenders left to challenge her. So hopefully, the UFC can put that fight together. Lastly, we'll be going over our main event, which featured featherweight title holder Alexander Volkanovski taking on the number 2 ranked Brian Ortega. Volkanovski first captured the featherweight title from Max Holloway at UFC 245 in 2019, then defended it in a closely contested rematch roughly 6 months later. While Volkanovski came into the fight riding an outstanding 19-fight winning streak, the controversy surrounding his second fight with Holloway put a bit of pressure on him to deliver a strong performance. On the flip side, Ortega had suffered his first professional loss in a title match against Holloway in 2018, but rebounded nicely with a win over Chan Sung Jung in October of 2020 to earn another shot at the 145-pound strap. Surprisingly, there was a bit of bad blood leading into their UFC 266 showdown, which grew during their time as opposing coaches on The Ultimate Fighter. While some of the attention for this fight may have been stolen by the return of Nick Diaz, it was undoubtedly a great matchup that fans were eager to see. The first 2 rounds of their championship bout were highly competitive, with both fighters damaging each other in the early going. Of course, things really began to heat up in the 3rd round when Brian Ortega dropped his opponent and cinched in what many thought was a fight-ending guillotine. Surprisingly, Volkanovski was able to break free and began raining down some vicious ground and pound before Ortega caught him in another submission, this time a triangle choke. However, once again, Volkanovski managed to escape and continue to land some hard shots on Ortega. Although Ortega attempted one more submission in the 4th round by securing a Darce choke, the champion was able to power out of it and land some brutal punches from the top position. The 5th and final round saw both fighters leave it all in the cage. But in the end, it was Volkanovski who walked away with a hard-fought unanimous decision win. As for what's next for Volkanovski, it'll most likely be the winner of Max Holloway vs. Yair Rodriguez, which takes place this November. So that concludes our brief recap of UFC 266. As always, if you guys enjoyed the video, please be sure to let me know by leaving a like and subscribing to our channel. Apart from that, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.